Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Eye Opener Society. If you happen to be joining us on YouTube right now and you're looking at the video portion of this, you might have noticed in the last three episodes, this third episodes, we haven't changed our clothes. So, yeah, that's because we sit and do all three episodes at once.
I have a
Um,
child.
there you go. So, I mean, there's plenty of excuses, but we can be found on YouTube if you wanted to see the video versions of this. And we can always be found on Facebook under Eye Opener Society or Eye Opener Society podbean.com. Of course, I have my beautiful stepdaughter with me again, Hannah.
Hi, hi.
And this one, I didn't even know when she said she was going to do this. I didn't know if I was ready for it. So I didn't know if she was going to be ready for it. But we all know Hannah and we all know how she operates. And she's so inspirational. And in the past couple of episodes, and also just knowing Eye Opener Society the last since October, there's been a lot of changes, and Hannah gone through a divorce, and obviously it's been some changes in our life, and it's sometimes it gets difficult. But there was a great way around that, and it's something we've spoken about here: journaling, writing stuff down, doing things, keeping your mind occupied. Um, even stuff to reflect on even the bad things that are going on. Hannah turned to poetry, and I've seen these poems. I've read them, and I've been absolutely, you know, floored by them. I'm the type of person, like, I really think poetry gives a real glimpse into what a person is going through. And Hannah, you decided to read
Yeah.
one of them.
So I'm going to read it, and I guess Gary can say what he thinks about it or ask me questions, whatever he wants to do. So I wrote, oh, it doesn't tell me when I wrote it. Yes, it does. I wrote this poem on 1/11/2025. Trauma response. What is it to you? For me, it's the tossing and turning while trying to sleep. It's waking up from the 1 hour of sleep I got drenched in sweat. It's studying something so hard, but my brain fails to retain anything other than the bitter whispers of the damage made. It's constantly being mad at God or the universe. It's being happy, then later on feeling guilty for feeling joy. It's the moment where I catch myself staring into nothing, but that nothing is clouds of negative thoughts I feel of myself. Trauma response, you ask? It's not just a response now, it's who I've become, and it's consumed me.
I can't thank you enough for reading that, because it takes a lot. Yeah, see, it takes a lot to read something like that, but when those words flow, whether you're writing them down or typing them, whatever you're doing, and then when you're verbally speaking them, it's just like meditation, where you're taking that deep breath in and then you're letting go of all of the negativity. I feel that's what poetry does. It gives you that outlet to face what troubles you, as well as breathe it back out. And I think, and especially on this one, because when you're saying the trauma response, it's saying, hey, I've learned ways to start dealing, because I'm starting to realize what has harmed me.
Yeah. And I think like how like when I was writing it, I was just not able to process anything. Like it was just bam, 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 bam. And it was just like everything became a trigger for me. Everything was like all my brain was the trauma that I went through. So it consumed me in quite an unhealthy way, mentally, physically, emotionally. It literally felt like I was suffocating. And I just had to get it out. And, so I think that was like maybe the third poem I wrote. And it just, for me, it literally, it was every single thing that I wrote there, like being waking up drenched in sweat, feeling joy and then feeling guilty about feeling happy in a moment. And it's hard because you look at yourself in the mirror, and I would look at myself and I'd be like, you're going to be okay, and you're going to be okay, but like everything in my body at that point in time was just like, no, like this is you're a wreck. Like I don't know how long it's going to take you to get out of this. Like everything is triggering for you, everything is traumatic for you. And it, like I said, it quite literally suffocated me for the longest time. And then just day by day, writing more poems and just figuring shit out. I'm doing okay right now, but trauma is scary. Um, and it shows up in many, many unhealthy ways. And I think it's important that, you find things that work for you and seek out help. And you have to really realize that you're not alone, that there's always something or someone out there for you. Like you don't have to be alone. Because for the longest time, I thought I was going to be alone, but I found poetry and I have people in my life that love me and care about me. And, I'm going back to the doctors more and figuring my life out and, getting my health back in track. So, in that moment, though, like just from 111 to now, I think I've come a decent way.
Yeah, and the poetry, and forgive me, I don't know if you wanted to release this, but you wanted to write a book
I
based on
do.
this. Yeah.
I do. I don't, yeah. So I want to release a poetry book. I don't want to give my idea out. So I'm not going to say my idea, because I don't want anyone to snatch it. Um, but yeah, I do. I have probably about 12 poems right now. I've taken a little break. I haven't written in a while. My life has just been crazy, um, and work and everything. But yeah, I do want to eventually release a short poetry book about my, not necessarily about my life, but just, it'll kind of be about my life in a sense. So I'm excited and I hope I will stick through to it with it. So
Yeah, I think you will, and you really should. The A book of poetry too. It much like the lyrics to songs and all, people can relate to stuff. People are going to say this. I'm going through this. I am going through this right now, and I think turning the pages of a book and reading all of this, people might find only one poem they relate to, or they may relate to the entire collection of poetry. But that's going to help people. That's going to say, wow, somebody else feels basically, the same way I do. And hopefully they can develop a sense of what you've gone through and where you've been. And, especially if you write a forward and, to the book and all say, hey, listen, I've overcome all of this. And maybe people can start doing the poetry or painting or music, whatever it is you want to take up. It is a great release to help you feel normal again, you know? And
yeah,
I think that's how it made you feel. And I was taken away by the poems. Like I said, that's just one poem, but it really gives a sense of the moment and the anguish or the happiness or whatever it is that, person is writing about. And I felt overwhelmed by it. And that's why I said, yeah, and I heard the idea that you had. And I think it's fantastic. And I really think it should be done as, probably sooner than later.
yeah. And I think I wanted to bring up too when the first line of the poem is like, trauma response is the name of the poem, but it's what is it to you? And I think for me, it was really important for me to write this poem. Um, because for me, like I said, I listed it out. Like it was trouble sleeping. It was maybe getting 1 hour of sleep. It was the sweat. It was the guilt. But I think it was important for me because if you're looking at it at like a psychological standpoint, I'm listing triggers. I'm listing responses from things that are happening. So I am becoming hyper aware of, okay, this is going to happen, like this might happen to me, or hey, I'm I'm triggered right now. All like, and because sometimes you're blind. Sometimes you're blind. Your cognitive skills are low because you're going through something so difficult in life. But writing that poem for me, I'm like, wow, like I'm listing these triggers and I wasn't even realizing it. I was just getting my feelings out and, making a poem and, trying to find something that works for me. But I look back at it now, to a little over 2 months later, and I'm like, wow, I'm listing things that are helping me.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about poems and whatever else it may be that helps you to journaling and all, don't forget, just you and I sitting here doing this podcast has always been another outlet for us.
Yeah.
The fact that you're even here sitting here and talking and actually reciting the poem that you wrote, that is freedom. That's freedom coming right from
Yeah.
the soul. That it's the same with me. I do this podcast really as a form of release because it's grown from a hobby into a part of my life. And it's something I can connect with, and hopefully other people can connect with me too as well. And then having you here and, all of our other co-hosts and guests and all, we hope to provide with something people can
Yeah.
connect with and realize and understand. Everybody's going through something, or, whether it be anger, happiness, sadness, whatever it is, we can express that. And there's ways of doing it. We don't always have to bottle it all up inside of us. We can put it out in many different forms.
And I think that's really important to realize, because you don't have to be catastrophic towards others or yourself when you're going through things. It's really important to take a step back and find a healthy outlet of something that works for you. If you want to sing or learn an instrument, even if you're bad at it, who cares? If that's your outlet, that's your outlet. If you want to write poetry, or you want to write a book, or you want to write in a journal and burn it afterwards, or whatever, if that helps you, then that's your outlet. You need to find a healthy outlet, because what I can tell you from firsthand experience is that if you don't have a healthy outlet, you're burning relationships, you're burning yourself out, and it's not good for you mentally, physically, or emotionally if you don't have that healthy outlet.
Yes. And I want everyone to sit and really consider what it is you're talented with, or even if it's something you've never done.
You want to
Just,
take up a baking class
yeah,
or learn chess.
exactly. It's something else to occupy your mind when you're going through the bad times. Whatever it may be, just try it. If it's something you don't like, find something else. You'll eventually find your niche. It will happen. So, you know, find these outlets for yourself. And I hope you can get yourself out of those funks, or, or if you are complete opposite where you're always happy, express that in some way too, as well, because we need that beauty, too. I like to hear from happy people just as much. So be yourself, recognize what it is you want to do, and, come up with those creative outlets that, can reach out to others. And honestly, I just want to throw this out here on a little side note. If you are really struggling and you don't know, and, call 911 in emergencies if you're in the United States, and, if you're in another
988.
country, and 988 for the suicide helpline if you do need that extra help. I just want to get that out there because I really enjoy the fact that there's a 988 simple
Me
numbers,
too.
just like 911. So if you're ever in a kind of crisis, don't forget those numbers and look up the helplines in your country, depending where you are from. But here in the United States, 988, and you don't have to pick up the phone and actually talk to someone. You can text too as well. Sometimes it's easier to, talk to somebody like that. So definitely check out 988 if you are in crisis, or 911. I just want to thank everybody again. And I want to thank you. We just, getting back into, our groove here, and you're hitting it out of the park. I didn't think you were going to come on so strong so
I had
fast, but
doubts.
yeah, man, I did. But this is awesome. I'm so happy for it, though. People do need to hear this. Don't forget, keep tuning in, eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. Find us on any platform, YouTube as well, if you want to see the video versions of this. And you can also check us out on any other, platform, but Facebook too as well. I'm trying to get Facebook's algorithms up again. I'm hating it more and more every day, but we're still there, Eye Opener Society, and I try to keep it up to date as much as I can. Thank you again, all of you wonderful listeners, and we hope you tune in soon.
See ya.